अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Nityanandam. This is Sarveshwarananda. And in this episode, Swamiji gives description and the technique and the meditation and all the related healing that one can get using the Ananda Chakra or the focus on the Ananda Ganda. There are 7 energy centers, as also called as chakra centers, which probably everybody is aware of. The 8th energy center, where all these 7 merge and become one, is called the Ananda Ganda. So Swamiji introduces that in this and also gives the description of the chakra's power. And actually it is not even a chakra, but basically it's where everything becomes, all the chakras become one, and it's a source of the superconscious energy, where the matter comes in direct contact with the consciousness. So again, Swamiji discusses that in this, and then please enjoy this episode and the healing and the meditation that go with it will be discussed either in the same episode or eventually. This is Sarveshwarananda signing off. Nityanandam.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are diving headfirst into a stack of sources that present a really comprehensive and, I have to say, highly specific metaphysical framework.
It's a big one.
It is. It deals with energy centers, consciousness, and a method of healing that's described as, well, cosmic. So our mission today is to unpack this intricate system. We're going to focus on the concepts around something called the Ananda Ganda Chakra, or the AGC.
Right.
We'll try to define it, understand the claimed benefits of its meditation practice, and then analyze the health applications of what's called Nithya spiritual healing.
And I think it's crucial to acknowledge, right up front, that these sources are operating on a completely non-physical plane.
Absolutely.
This material is positing a level of existence that just goes way beyond our normal understanding of anatomy. It's offering a kind of blueprint for the fundamental source of all our internal energy.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Starting with the concept the sources describe as the ultimate internal energy collapse point, the Ananda Ganda Chakra. Now, for a listener who might be familiar with, say, the traditional 7 chakras, what makes the AGC so fundamentally different based on this material?
Well, what's most significant here is that the AGC is presented not as just, another energy center in the line. It's the centralized source where everything merges.
Everything.
Everything. The sources define it as the point where the 7 chakras, the 7 energy bodies, and the 5 koshas all collapse into one ultimate point of origin.
Whoa, okay. That is a lot of specialized terminology. Before we go any further, let's maybe provide a quick glossary for anyone listening who might be hearing some of that for the first time.
Good idea.
We generally get the 7 chakras, but what are the 7 energy bodies? And specifically, the 5 koshas in this context.
That's a great idea because context here is absolutely key. The koshas are, they're often translated as sheaths or layers of existence.
Like an onion.
Exactly like an onion. They're the 5 coverings that veil the true self, ranging from the outermost physical body, the Annamaya Kosha, all the way inward to the most subtle causal body, the Anandamaya Kosha.
And the 7 energy bodies.
So when the sources talk about those, they're referring to the subtle, non-physical counterparts to our physical body. So the etheric, the mental, the emotional bodies, and so on.
So when the source says the AGC is where the chakras, bodies, and koshas all collapse, it's basically saying this single point encapsulates the totality of a person's existence.
Yeah.
Physical, energetic, mental, all of it.
Precisely. And because the AGC integrates all those subtle systems, it necessarily has to exist outside the physical body. That's what gives it this purely metaphysical significance. It's described as the direct connection to universal cosmic energy itself, the ultimate 0 point.
And if that's the source, then the state of being connected to it, that's what's described as enlightenment, right? Essentially becoming one with that cosmic energy.
That is the claim. The sources suggest that the master lives in this state continuously. It's not some fleeting meditative experience. It's a permanent, established state of being.
which has external consequences, especially in healing. The Source mentions a really specific mechanism for accessing this divine energy to heal others.
Mm-hmm.
It says it's only opened when a person with enlightened consciousness initiates a healer. That sounds like a kind of necessary energy transfer.
It's described as absolutely essential. That initiation establishes a permanent, continuous connection to the very same energy source the master lives in.
So this continuous access is the whole foundation of the healing system.
It is. The logic is that by tapping into this core point, this AGC healing energy can be delivered to give new life, new energy, and heal disease by going straight to the fundamental energetic cause.
Okay, that sets the stage perfectly for the practical application. If the AGC is the core, then the next logical step is accessing it and staying connected through a daily practice. What happens when a person practices this Ananda Ganda meditation continuously?
The primary claim is internal, unshakable stability.
Unshakable.
The sources are very definitive on this. Nothing from the outside world, no failure, no tragedy, no external circumstance can shake you internally. You remain strong and stable.
So the idea is that if the root source of your energy is connected to the entire cosmos, then, transient earthly problems just lose their power over you.
Exactly. The ultimate aim is for this meditative connection to become your natural state of being, to be eternally established in Ananda Ganda.
And this is where the specific internal benefits are detailed, and it provides a fascinating psychological and energetic framework. The practice is said to grant 3 key benefits, and they use these beautiful Sanskrit terms. Let's start with Sat.
Right, Sat. It translates to clarity. But this clarity isn't just, cognitive. The sources claim that this level of objectivity actually eliminates the drives of greed and fear.
Greed and fear, the 2 big ones.
The 2 powerful human forces that corrupt our perception.
So, if the sources claim that this clarity gets rid of greed and fear, what practical difference does that make in, say, everyday decisions? Is it more about emotional detachment or just extreme objective focus?
It implies an extreme focus that's born from detachment. I mean, if you're operating without greed, that desire for gain or fear, the anxiety of loss, your decisions become purely objective. They're aligned only with effectiveness. It moves a person from reaction to calculated, clear action.
Okay, moving on to the second benefit, Chit. This is linked to consciousness and enthusiasm. The description here implies just boundless, consistent energy.
It's a kinetic enthusiasm for everything you do. The sources, they paint this picture of every pore, every single cell, just radiating energy. And crucially, it grants the ability to execute demanding decisions one after another without feeling tired.
Without burnout.
Zero burnout. You maintain the same intelligence and enthusiasm throughout the entire process. It's described as perpetual, high-level operational energy.
And then the third component, this is the one that really captures the imagination, Ananda, or bliss for no reason.
Which is just what it sounds like. Remaining happy irrespective of what happens in the outer world. This isn't a temporary high. It's a self-sufficient state of joy.
It implies the source of your happiness is entirely internal.
Exactly. It eliminates the need for any kind of external validation or, favorable circumstances to feel good.
So when we put them all together, Sat, clarity, Chit, inexhaustible enthusiasm, and Ananda, bliss for no reason, what does this triad really mean for an individual's well-being, especially when it comes to the ability to heal?
Well, it creates the foundation for what you could call a master state. If you are permanently clear, eternally energetic, and unconditionally blissful, the sources argue you achieve optimal physical and mental health almost as a side effect.
It just happens naturally.
Naturally. And what's more, you gain the stability and the objective lens needed to channel cosmic energy without your own internal chaos getting in the way of the external healing process. It implies that true healing capability only comes after complete inner stability is achieved.
That level of stability and clarity, then, leads us directly to the external service, Nithya Spiritual Healing, or NSH. This is described as the ultimate technique.
It earns that title because it's a 2-in-1 technique. It benefits both parties equally and at the same time. The healer, by channeling this energy, feels incredible bliss, and the person receiving the energy gets healed.
So it's restorative for both the giver and the receiver.
That's the claim, yes. An act that restores both.
And a very important practical detail that's emphasized in the sources is that NSH is a service provided completely free of cost. It's offered at thousands of healing centers worldwide and at these regularly conducted free healing camps.
And critically, the system is described as having the safety feature of no adverse side effects.
None at all.
Which is a crucial claim when you're discussing any potent energy modality, this idea that it can only deliver benefit without any unintended consequence.
Now let's get into the claims about efficacy. Because the list of conditions NSH claims to address is, well, it's remarkable for its breadth. It covers everything from minor aches to systemic, life-threatening diseases.
The claims span physical, psychological, and specific injury issues. And on the physical side, the list is extensive. It addresses very serious chronic conditions.
The sources explicitly mention relief from things like cancer, renal failure, and chronic asthma. They also list conditions like sinusitis, hernia, diabetes, high blood pressure, back problems.
And it continues. I mean, it's a laundry list of common chronic issues: allergies, seizures, migraine, wheezing, skin problems, insomnia. And then it expands to cover immediate concerns, like the quick healing of physical injuries, burns, pains, and aches.
That is an absolutely astonishing range. I mean, it's one thing to claim relief from a migraine or insomnia, but how does the source material justify claims about something like renal disease or cancer? Does it offer any mechanism for how one spiritual energy technique can address such different pathologies?
And that really is the key question. The source material's answer is consistent with its definition of the AGC.
It all comes back to the source.
It all comes back to the source. Since the Ananda Ganda is claimed to be the ultimate collapse point, the source of all energy in the being, the idea is that systemic disease is just a symptom of a disturbance at that core energetic level.
So you don't treat the symptom, you treat the disturbance.
Exactly. Therefore, when NSH channels pure cosmic energy to reset the AGC, the healing should, theoretically, radiate positive effects across every single system. It restores the natural, healthy blueprint for both the physical and mental bodies at the same time.
It's a top-down healing model. You fix the source, and everything downstream gets corrected.
That's the framework.
And of course, the claims aren't just physical. They also address psychological problems, mentioning relief from anxiety, depression, and phobias.
And specific women's health issues, too, offering solutions to gynecological and infertility issues. The implication is holistic mental, physical, and reproductive well-being all benefit from this energetic recalibration.
Given the nature of these claims, I mean, healing cancer and renal failure with no adverse side effects using cosmic energy, it's not surprising that the sources also mention attempts at scientific validation. How is the source material positioning itself in relation to traditional research?
The sources seem to acknowledge the need to bridge that gap between faith and fact. They specifically detail research experiments conducted to observe the subject's brain while he meditated. The goal was to try and demystify these mystic phenomena and quantify the state of enlightened beings.
And the subject was identified as Paramahamsa Nityananda. But when we talk about using cutting-edge medical technology, what were the researchers actually trying to measure? You can't put cosmic energy in a test tube.
That is the central challenge, isn't it? The research was conducted by experienced physicians, neuropsychologists, and researchers from institutions like the Jim Thorpe Rehabilitation Center and the PEAT Center of Oklahoma. So they're using conventional tools like PEAT scans, EEGs to look for unconventional results.
So they're measuring what they can measure. Physiological parameters like blood flow, energy expenditure, specific brainwave patterns. And they're hoping to find a unique, quantifiable signature that's associated with this claimed enlightened state of continuous AGC access.
Exactly. The source material is essentially trying to prove that this metaphysical state translates into a biologically distinct state. And while the source details the attempt and the institutions involved, it really emphasizes the challenge of translating a phenomenon like enlightenment or cosmic energy channeling into conventional neuroscientific data points.
Which seems to reveal a specific drive within this framework. They're seeking objective proof for something that is, by its own definition, inherently subjective and spiritual.
It's fascinating, isn't it, that the material itself feels compelled to court scientific language and establish research centers, even when the underlying claim is entirely about something unmeasurable by current physics.
It really speaks to the modern drive for external validation.
It does. When you're dealing with claims that span such a breadth, from achieving personal bliss to treating systemic disease, there's this implicit need to show that the effect is real, even if the tools for measuring the cause are still trying to catch up to the metaphysical claim.
That brings us to the end of our deep dive into these sources. We started with the metaphysical nature of the Ananda Ganda Chakra, that collapse point of the 7 energy systems. which is claimed to be the core source of all existence within an individual.
And we explored those transformative internal benefits from the meditation practice, that triad of Sat, clarity without greed or fear, Chit, inexhaustible enthusiasm, and Ananda, self-sufficient bliss, which, together create the inner stability needed for effective healing.
And finally, we summarize the unique claim of Nithya's spiritual healing, that it's a two-in-one technique offering bliss to the practitioner and healing across a vast array of ailments for the receiver, offered globally for free and claimed to be without any side effects.
This material really does present a complete closed-loop system, a path of meditation that leads to a state of enlightenment, the AGC access, which then enables a powerful service, the NSH.
Which raises an important question for you to consider. The sources argue that inner perfection is the prerequisite for external healing. If true self-sufficiency is characterized by bliss for no reason, what does that imply about our human relationship with external comfort and suffering? And if this continuous enlightened state is the goal, how much effort should be devoted to cultivating inner clarity versus trying to fix the external world?